Alrighty, man. Seems like it's been forever. It's been about 2 weeks since my last live stream. I appreciate everybody who, stays subscribed, still taps in with me. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes in the Patreon and Discord community, focusing on MLB props. So, I'm back, though. It's NBA Finals time, so I had to come back, talk about the Boston Celtics and Golden State Warriors, kicking things off tonight, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So, appreciate everybody for being here. Decided to move the show to 12 p.m. We'll do a little bit of a noon show. That allowed me to get some work in for the Patreon members. I posted a whole bunch of MLB props. So if you guys are playing NBA, you might want to scale back on your basketball props a little bit. There's a lot of other sports going on right now that I think are more profitable, like the MLB. WNBA's been good. NHL's been pretty solid as well. You got a bunch of different esports out there. So a lot of different ways that you could go when it comes to playing props here on PrizePicks. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you get subscribed now. Also turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any content, anything that I post. It will automatically alert you so that you can stay in the loop anytime that I post something new. So I appreciate all of you guys for, again, the continued support, for tapping in with me. And hopefully today we can uncover what might look like some gems between this Boston and Golden State game. Now, I mentioned Patreon before. Guys, if you want to support my content, the best way, number one way to do that is joining Patreon. There's a link down in the description below. It's just $20 a month, so you win one $10 two-pick power play, and the $20 Patreon is then paid for, and you're free rolling for the rest of the month. So with the way things in MLB have been going, which is good, I think you'll have no problem paying off that $20 Patreon fee. Plus, it goes a long way to help support me as a content creator. I don't make a whole lot. To be honest with you, going on here on YouTube doesn't pay much for a channel of my size. So your continued support, your help goes a long way in keeping me going here on YouTube. So I appreciate that. Run those likes up. We'll try to get as many likes as possible per usual. And let's get into it. Boston and Golden State, 213.5 implied point total. So not real low, but not super sky high, not 220, 230, 240 combined points, but 213.5, not too shabby. And then there's a 4-point spread between these two teams, meaning they hope that this game stays close and competitive. They think Golden State's going to keep things close and competitive. Hopefully that's the case, because I don't like blowouts, and I'm sure a lot of you out there don't like blowouts either. When the game gets out of hand, our props typically go down the drain pretty quick, especially since we like to take so many overs, right? Blowouts, when you take the unders, usually it works out in your favor, but when you take the overs, some of these blowout games, not so good, not so good. Anyway, that's the little preview of tonight's game, Boston, Golden State. I've got Golden State winning the whole thing. I think they're going to win the championship, but that's just me. Let's check in with the chat real quick, because I haven't had a chance to say hello to you guys in a couple of weeks, so let's do that now. Everyday Fantasy says, good afternoon, good sir. Always here for the chef. Appreciate you, Don P. 111 in Discord for your support. Speaking of support, Wesley Winston been the A1 day one. He's here with the yo boss man. Appreciate you, Wes. Thanks for rocking with me for over a year now. Over a year, I think it's been, man. Definitely over a year, actually. Yeah, you've been one of the OGs. You and Anthony T. OG triple OGs in this thing. So appreciate your long lasting support. Tony Ruiz says, we back. Let's go. It's NBA Finals. Patreon has been awesome at MLB and NHL. Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. It's not all about basketball anymore. I mean, we're starting to kind of spread our wings, get involved in some of these other sports. You see some of the stuff that I post to YouTube, some of these winning screenshots, MLB screenshots. Yeah, we out here winning some baseball props. So if you're into that sort of thing, join my Patreon. You could support me. Plus, I put tons of different picks out there daily for MLB. We've got other community members who are sharp in some of these other sports like, WNBA or CSGO. I mean, we're all just in there trying to help each other out. That's the name of the game. Try to win together, especially in these summer months when we don't have too many sports to really choose from. But Aaron Rodgers, I see the big eye emoji. Woo! Yeah, we're back. We're back, buddy. Thanks for being here. Trill Fate says, Dub Nation, championship number 4. Yeah, I agree with you, Trill. I agree with you. King United's here. Return of CJ. Let's get it today in the NBA Finals. Don French says, all right, he's going to drop some fire picks. Love to see that. Sean Vega says, all hail King CJ. Let's go. Hit that effing like button. Appreciate the support, brother. Who else we got in here? Duncan, what's up, y'all? Not sure if I will be here long, but we'll definitely be part of the replay gang. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I see Don French is liking Derek White over 0.5 steals. Okay. Throwbacks is in the building. He says, welcome back. Thank you so much, Anthony, with the welcome back message. Thank you so much. Jeremiah says, welcome back as well. Thank you, Jeremiah. Rocket Sauce says, once NBA is over, come join the Patreon crew if you like winning cash because the MLB hits just keep on coming. Thank you, Rocket Sauce. Appreciate that. Osmosis Jones, better late than never. Thanks for being here. Jimmy Green says, let's go. Just made it in time. Chris Smith, let's freaking go. Digging into some MLB. Drew Bree says, snap. Break time is over. Glad to be back. What's up, Patreon gang? What's up to you, Mr. Drew Brees? You flex, I flex back. Yeah, just, had some health issues, health situations, man. That's kind of what sidelined me for the last couple of weeks, but I'm glad to be back, man. I'm glad to be back here trying to help you folks out. Yickety said, see, Dallas didn't have that supporting cast. Yeah, you're right. Dallas didn't have that supporting cast. Well, anyways, let's play some Pirtle real quick, and then we'll get into some NBA props. So Pirtle, in case you guys don't know, it's based on the famous popular word game called Wordle. Basically, we're going to be trying to guess the mystery player here. Green in any column indicates an exact match. Yellow in the team column indicates that the mystery player at one point or another played for this team but doesn't currently play for him. Yellow in the position column means that it's a partial match to the mystery player's given position. Yellow in any other column indicates that the attribute is within 2. That could be 2 inches. 2 years in the age, 2 digits in the jersey number of the mystery player. If we get stuck, we have a lifeline. It's called silhouette mode. Silhouette mode will help us get a little shapely idea of who we might be looking for today. So let's get this thing started. Being that it is Boston and Golden State, I want to go ahead and let's just start with Steph Curry. You got to start somewhere, right? Oh, wow. First guess was a good one. We hit a lot of green. We hit a lot of green on here, meaning this player plays for the Golden State Warriors. That's a huge help, but it's not going to be Steph Curry. Plays in the Western Conference Pacific Division and plays guard, is taller than 6'2", younger than 34 years old, and the jersey number lower than 30. All right, well, guard who's taller than 6'2", younger than 34, jersey number under 30. Could it be Jordan Poole? No, it's not Jordan Poole, but he did fit a lot of the criteria. So we know this player's between 6'2 and 6'4, so gotta be 6'3, right? Older than 22, younger than 34 in age, jersey number lower than 3. So who we got left out there? If it's not Jordan Poole, who we got left out there for Golden State? I mean, is it anybody on the PrizePicks board? No. Can't be. Single digit jersey number guard. Gary? I don't think Gary, I thought Gary Payton Jr. had a different jersey number. And I want to say he's older than Jordan Poole. Oh, sugar. I'm wrong. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm wrong. You guys are right. Those of you who said Gary Payton II, listen, we solved it in 3 guesses. That Steph Curry first guess really set us off in the right direction. So shout out to everybody who guessed it right. Gary Payton II. Maybe he just looks older than what he is. I thought this guy was, let me see, what is his age? Oh, he is 29. My bad. I thought it was saying he was younger than 22. So yeah, Gary Payton II is the right answer. Golden State Warriors, obviously West Conference, Pacific Division, plays guard. He's 6'3", 29 years old, jersey number 0. Well, dang, I guess I just didn't know his jersey number. But yeah, it is definitely Gary Payton II. GP2, getting that Steph Curry guess. Yeah, that was clutch. All right, so let's take a look at this game. I want to start by taking a look at the previous matchup between these two teams. They faced each other twice in the regular season, once in December, once in March. So let's take a glimpse at the box score real quick. We could kind of get an idea of maybe who was in, who was out for both teams, get a look at the totals, the final scores between both teams, and kind of maybe start our research process there. So obviously, you see the score here. Golden State won. It was 111 to 107, so very close game. They ended up winning by 4 points in Boston. This was a road game for Golden State, home game for Boston. Taking a look at some of the stats here. Andrew Wiggins, 27 points in that game. Steph Curry had 30 points in that game, leading all Golden State Warriors in the scoring department. So we know that Andrew Wiggins has had a fantastic playoff run. His point prop has been set at like 15.5 for most of the playoffs. It's at 15.5 today. So maybe he's a guy to kind of keep an eye out on. He dropped 27 big points, shooting 11 for 20. Now, I will point out this. You obviously do not see Klay Thompson in the starting lineup here for the Golden State Warriors. No Klay Thompson for Golden State. On top of that, I don't even see Jordan Poole. So no Klay, no Poole. So obviously Wiggins had a much bigger role in that game due to that. Now Curry ended up with 30 points on 8 for 21 shooting. But yeah, no Klay Thompson, no Jordan Poole. So those are obviously 2 big pieces that will be in there tonight that weren't in there before. So taking a look at some of the other stats here. Rebounds. The rebound leader was Kevon Looney. We saw Looney have some pretty big games in the previous series in terms of rebounding and even scoring in some of the games. So Kevon Looney could keep good pace here against this Boston Celtics team. So he might be one to kind of look out for some rebounds. Andrew Wiggins, he's been hitting his rebound props throughout the playoffs. His rebound today are set at 6. So, I mean, that could be another potential way to go. Draymond Green typically leading the Golden State Warriors in potential assists per game. He had 8 dimes in their first matchup. He's at 6 today on PrizePicks, so that'll be one to potentially keep an eye out on as well. Let's go down to the Boston Celtics side of things. Jayson Tatum led all Boston Celtics scorers with 27 points in that first meeting against Golden State. He shot 9 of 19 from the field, ended up with 27 points, which is just enough to get him over today's prop of 26.5. So Tatum obviously been having a fantastic run throughout the playoffs. I'm sure he's going to be a very popular play today. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown with 19 and 20 points respectively. We see Jaylen Brown at 22.5. Marcus Smart's out there at 14.5. So those guys were your top scorers from that game. Now, Josh Richardson, he played off of the bench, but he's no longer there. He is now a San Antonio Spur, and in his place, they have Derek White. So the rosters have definitely changed up a little bit for both teams. Romeo Langford also no longer there for Boston. So it was Tatum, Williams, Smart, and Brown. No Al Horford in the starting lineup for Boston their first game. So kind of gives you an idea, right? Let's go to the next matchup, which was from March. Now, the road team won this one as well. We talked about what happened in game 1. Golden State went into Boston, got the win on the road. Well, then Boston went into Golden State and got the win on the road against them. Now, they won by a pretty hefty margin, 110 to just 88 points for Golden State. So let's just take a quick look at the box scores for both teams. Again, Jayson Tatum had himself a fantastic game, as did Marcus Smart with 20 points. So Smart, both regular season games against Golden State, played very well in terms of scoring the basketball. Now, this looks like the normal lineup here for the Boston Celtics. Smart and Brown in the backcourt, Tatum and Horford in the front court, and then Robert, the Time Lord Williams, manning the middle for the C's. So kind of see who scored and who did what. It was Tatum leading the way, Brown also with 26 points, and then Smart with 20. So maybe Smart has himself a good series as far as scoring the rock. Scrolling down here, looking at the Golden State Warriors, Jordan Poole did play in this game, had 29 points. Curry also played, but just 14 minutes. I don't know if he left with an injury or what happened in that situation, but just 3 points, 14 minutes played. Klay Thompson also played in this game. He did not play in the first game, ended up with 18 points, 33 minutes on 8 of 24 shooting. So he shot the ball quite a bit. Didn't have a really great shooting night, but you kind of see what happened once again here. Looney with 8 boards led the Golden State Warriors in rebounds. Draymond Green, coming off of, I believe, a injury or long layoff. He was, working himself back into playing shape. He came off the bench, but had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, just 2 points. So kind of gives you an idea taking a look back. So that's the box scores from the first couple of games. Let's go ahead and fire up some props.cash here. We're going to use props.cash to do our player prop research. Props.cash, the number one way that I do my player prop research on a daily basis. So we'll click the NBA link, get things loaded up. If you want to try props.cash out, you can get a 25% discount on your first month. Go down to the description of today's video to sign up for props.cash if you haven't yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these hit rates here. What I'll do is filter the hit rates by playoffs. So we're going to take a look at the playoff hit rates first and foremost, looking at points to start things off. So Andrew Wiggins leads the way with 68.8% hit rate on 15.5 points. Right behind him is Jordan Poole. Now he's at 14.5 with a 56% hit rate, but PrizePicks has him at 15.5, so we're paying a little bit more for Jordan Poole's point prop. Jayson Tatum, 28.5. We're seeing him at 26.5 on PrizePicks, so we're getting a 2-point value according to props.cash versus the line for Tatum on PrizePicks. So that's looking kind of nice. Grant Williams at 7.5 points. We're seeing about a 55% hit rate throughout the playoffs for him. All these other guys are right around 50% or below. So let's start with some of the more popular guys from the Boston Celtics. Obviously, Jayson Tatum's going to be one that a lot of people are going to take Jayson Tatum. So, or at least think about taking Jayson Tatum. So I want to talk about him first and foremost. So just starting off by looking at his playoff performances at 26.5 points, you see he's got a 61% hit rate, which is not too shabby. That's an 11 out of 18 hit rate overall. So 11 out of 18. Now he's going to be on the road tonight. Let's take a look at his road splits at 26.5. Does he score better or worse when he plays away from Boston? That's the question we're trying to answer. So he's 6 for 9, 67% hit rate on the road. When we take a look at the home splits at 26.5, 56% hit rate when he plays in front of the Boston Celtics fans. So he does do a better job throughout the playoffs at scoring on the road versus when he scores at home. So the fact that he's going to be playing in Golden State, I think bodes well for him. Slightly higher hit rate, 6 for 9 throughout the playoffs. Now, let's also take a look at what he's done against the Golden State Warriors in 2 regular season games. We talked about it briefly. At 26.5 points, he's 50% or 1 for 2. Their first meeting back in December, he barely hit. The second meeting, he came close, but no cigar, finished with 26 points. So his average is exactly 26.5 versus the Golden State Warriors this season. So they got a pretty good number up here at 26.5 on Jayson Tatum's point prop. All right, let's jump ahead here. Let's try to pull a projection up for Jayson Tatum. Not sure how good or how accurate these projections are going to be now that it's playoff time, but hey, it's worth taking a peek at. He is projected for 32.1 points, which is higher than 26.5, but I think that's a little too high. Not that he can't score 30 plus points. I just think might be asking a lot here, being that he scored 27 and 26 in the two previous games against Golden State. I'm not so sure that he's got 30 in him in a game one on the road against the Warriors. But we take a look at his prop line on some of these sports books out here. They got him at 28.5 points, right? He's at 26.5 on PrizePicks, so that's 2 points of value. Meaning the lines on PrizePicks versus the sports books are different by 2 points. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but those edges are pretty significant. Here's why. So when you go and look at these sports books, when they set a line or a prop for a player, they try to set it as close to being a 50-50 proposition as possible, right? So at 28.5 or even 27.5, they're trying to make this as much of a coin flip as they can. Well, we're getting 2 points of value on Jayson Tatum at 26.5, which drastically shifts things into our favor. If we're looking to take the over, that is, right? So that is definitely worth considering. Now at 28.5 points, he is a betting favorite to go under. Betting favorite to go under. At 27.5 points, 1 point lower than the 28.5, they're betting the over. They think he's going to go for 28, but they don't think he's going to go for 29. And by they, I mean the betting public. Real people like me and you who have money in hand, who go out to these sports books and slap that money down on the overs and unders on these different player props. So they think he's good for 28 points, but they don't think he's good for 29. That's why they're betting the under at 28.5 and the over at 27.5. But we're getting him at 26.5. So if they're betting the over at 27.5, we should probably give some real consideration, some serious thought into betting the over on Jayson Tatum at 26.5. What do you guys think? Over or under on Jayson Tatum at 26.5 points. You taking the value here? 1 to 2 points of value that we're getting versus the sports books? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Now, Tatum's wingman, Jaylen Brown, is at 22.5 points. Let's dig into Jaylen Brown's playoff logs and see what Mr. Brown can do for you tonight. He's at 24.5 according to props.cash. So we're going to start by looking at that. When we bump him down from 24.5 to 22.5, we see his hit rates improve to 56%. 56% hit rate, which isn't great. It's not as good as Jayson Tatum. So let's also take a look at his splits. Road splits versus home splits. Now at home, 22.5 points, 44% hit rate. On the road at 22.5 points, a 67% hit rate. Pretty significant difference. Kind of like Tatum, Jaylen Brown scores better on the road than he does at home. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. He's a 6 for 9 hitter at 22.5 points in the playoffs on the road. So definitely worth considering an overplay for his points prop. Now against Golden State this season, he has faced the Warriors twice at 22.5 points. He's covered 1 out of 2. So much like Tatum, a 50% hitter in those regular season games. So Jaylen Brown went under back in December, went over in March with 26 points. Overall, he's averaging 23 points, which is a little bit higher than the 22.5. So things looking pretty good here for Jaylen Brown. Now let's look at his projection. We saw Tatum's projection kind of high at 32. Now they've got a more reasonable projection up here for Jaylen Brown at 27.5 points. He's at 24.5 on all the sports books out there. Again, we're getting 2 points of value here, meaning the lines on PrizePicks versus the sports books are different by 2 points. Now, when we get 2 points of value, again, we should sit up in our chairs. We should pay attention to that because 2 points of value goes a long way. That's a pretty big difference. But I will say this, at 24.5 points, it seems like the betting public is a little bit pessimistic on Jaylen Brown scoring 25 or more. So they're betting the under. They think he's going to stay at 24 points or less, which is fine. If he scores 24 points or less, we take the over at 22.5. We need him to be at 23 or 24. We're okay with that. He could score 23 or 24 if we want to take the over, and we would still hit this prop. So there you go. Let's see here. Tatum, Brown. We talked about Smart. I believe he is now 2 for 2. 2 for 2 against the Golden State Warriors in the regular season at 14.5 points. He's worth looking at. So let's take a look at Marcus Smart real quick. We'll click in here. We'll look at his playoff hit rates first and foremost, like we did with a couple of these other guys. And then we'll make sure he's at 14.5. And then you can see his hit rates throughout the playoffs, 8 for 15, 53% hit rate. So it's almost a coin flip. He doesn't have the same hit rates as his teammates, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown. So this one might be a little bit more risky. Now let's take a look and see what happens when we look at the splits again. At home throughout the playoffs, 3 for 7, just 43%. On the road, 5 for 8, 63%. So he's another guy, Smart, Tatum, Brown. All of these guys are scoring better on the road in the playoffs than they are at home. Their hit rates go up by quite a bit. So Smart could be in line here for a pretty decent night, being that he's on the road versus Golden State. Now, we talked about his success versus Golden State in their 2 regular season matchups. You can see what happened there. 2 for 2, 19 in December, 20 in March, averaging 19.5 points. He's at 14.5 today, so that's a pretty big difference. His regular season averages versus the Dubs versus his prop line of 14.5, 5-point difference. So maybe you take a shot on Smart's points tonight. And last but not least, we're going to look up a projection for you. They got him projected at 14.3, which I think is a pretty realistic number. When you take a look across the board, different sports books, they've all got him at 14.5. So we're not getting the value that we're getting on Tatum or Brown, but at 14.5 points, he is a betting favorite to go over, -120, -126, and -130. So those are like your top 3 guys for Boston. Now, what about Golden State? We'll start with Steph Curry. Appreciate everybody for being here. Definitely drop a like if you haven't yet. All the support, man, goes a long way. Even if you hit the dislike button, even that helps me out. Anything that boosts the algorithms, likes, dislikes, I'll take anything I can get. Some of you guys out there who hit the dislike button, that's okay too. That all helps in engagement and then boosts me up in the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate you. All right, so let's take a look at the Warriors side of things. We're going to start with Steph Curry. Curry had one really weird, funky-looking game versus Boston, but then he also had a 30-point game versus Boston in the regular season. So we're going to take a look at his playoff hit rates first and foremost. 63% hit rate. 63% hit rate, 10 for 16 at 26.5 points. So at 63%, that's a pretty good hit rate. Now let's take a look at his home and road splits. I can tell you this, I've looked into this before. He's typically better at home than he is on the road. So let's see if that rings true or not. When we bump him down to 26.5, he's got a 67% hit rate. 6 for 9. 6 for 9 at 67% hit rate. So pretty good at home, averaging 26.6 points per game throughout the playoffs. When we take a look at his away games at 26.5, 57% hit rate. So he does have a slightly better hit rate when he plays in Golden State versus when he plays elsewhere. So Steph Curry at 26.5 points, looking like a pretty decent route, being that he's at home. Now let's go look at those games against Boston, those regular season games. I mentioned he played them twice. Game 1, 30 points against the Celtics. Great game for him. But we talked about no Poole, no Klay Thompson in that game. So Curry and Wiggins pretty much have free reign to do whatever they wanted to do. Now in game 2, just 3 points. We mentioned he only played 14 minutes in that game. I think he got hurt in that game. That was a while back, but if memory serves me correct, something happened to him and he ended up having to leave that game early. So 1 for 2. I don't think we could really count this second game, being that he exited the game early. Boston ended up blowing Golden State out in that one. So we'll see what happens tonight. Jumping ahead here, taking a look at a projection for Curry's points. At 26.5, I've got him projected for 28.4. I don't mind that projection. I don't think that projection's totally crazy in any kind of way. He's at 27.5 on the books, meaning 1 point of value, but we're seeing some mixed signals, some mixed information here as far as how sports bettors are approaching this points prop for Curry. Some books, they're betting the under at 27.5. Some books, they're betting the over at 27.5. So kind of mixed signals. They're all over the place here, all over the place. But we're getting them at 26.5. So there's a little bit of value, a 1-point value on Steph Curry at 26.5. So I don't completely hate him, being that he's playing at home. Yeah, it'll be a tough matchup. We know Boston's defense is good. We know Marcus Smart is the defensive player of the year if he draws the assignment on Steph Curry. But that value, once again, is definitely something to keep an eye on. Let's talk about the second highest point prop for Golden State. It's Klay Thompson. Now, Klay in the playoffs, better on the road than he is at home. I'll show you. Klay has done a good job of scoring the basketball when he's not playing at Golden State. So looking at his playoff hit rates, we're going to make sure he is at 20.5 points. When we bump him up to 20.5, first and foremost, just throughout the playoffs, he's 6 for 16, 38%. That's not a very good hit rate to start things off, averaging 19.8 points, which is less than the 20.5, right? Now, when we add in the splits, let's look at those. Home splits, 44% hit rate at home. 44% hit rate at home. Not very good. Away, 20.5, 29% hit rate. So, I mean, he just doesn't have very good hit rates in general, home or away. Right? So, if you wanted to take the under on Klay Thompson at 20.5 points, I couldn't blame you. I mean, he had a big game, 32 points against Dallas to close out that series, but you could see more often than not at 20.5, he's going under. He's going under. Now, against Boston, he's only played them once in the regular season, ended up with 18 points. So he ended up going under 20.5 in that one as well. All right, let's jump ahead and take a look at a projection for Klay Thompson. Got it projected for 25.1. That seems too high to me. I don't know that I'm buying into him scoring 25 points tonight. But it's game one. New series. Who knows? Anything could happen, right? But 25 seems a little bit too high. Now at 19.5, he's a betting favorite to go over minus 122. But we're getting him at 20.5. At 20.5, we're seeing him being bet under on some of these books. Not crazy odds, not very strong juice to go under, but under nonetheless. So Klay Thompson might be an under candidate for his points. Andrew Wiggins at 15.5 points. Both he and Jordan Poole are on the board, but I'm going to talk about Wiggins because Wiggins has been scoring very well throughout the playoffs. So let's look at Wiggins real quick. And then we'll move on from points and look at some of these other props. Andrew Wiggins at 15.5 points. Nice little hit rate, 11 for 16, 69%. Alex, you got this jumbo shrimp hat? What you know about the jumbo shrimp? My good friend works for the jumbo shrimp up in Jacksonville. So he hooked I had to pay for it, but he still hooked your boy up. But yeah, jumbo shrimp, really cool little team up there, a minor league baseball team for those of y'all who do not know, based out of Jacksonville, Florida. Anyway, Andrew Wiggins at 15.5 points, 11 out of 16, or 69% throughout the playoffs. Let's look at his home and road splits as well. At home, 78% hit rate, 7 for 9, gang. 7 for 9, 78% hit rate. He's playing at home tonight, so that looks really good, right? On the road, 57% hit rate, so he's a much better scorer at home. If you're going to take Andrew Wiggins' point prop, probably be the night to do it when he's playing at home. Now against Boston, we mentioned he played Boston one time, had 27 points in that game, but that was without Klay Thompson, without Jordan Poole. So we do have to kind of keep that into consideration. He's probably not going to go for 27 again tonight. But nonetheless, great hit rates at home and just been solid scoring the ball throughout the playoffs. He is projected for 19.5 points. That might be just a smidge too high. I think that projection is just a little bit too high. And then we're seeing him at 15.5 as a betting favorite to go over, 16.5 a betting favorite to go under. So we're getting the lower line at 15.5. The fact that the fact that we've got Andrew Wiggins at 16.5 on some books, those lines makers on those books must think that 16 to 17 points is a realistic outcome for Andrew Wiggins. So even if he hits at 16 or 17 points and we take the over at 15.5, we're sitting pretty, right? Sitting pretty. So we're getting a 1-point value compared to some of these other sports books. Andrew Wiggins, very nice hit rates at home this season. All right, moving on from there, assists. Got a few different options out here. I know Draymond Green typically leading the Golden State Warriors in potential assists per game. Let's just go ahead and take a look at that, though. Now that we have our NBA Finals matchup all decided and all determined, we can take a look at who's leading Golden State in potential assists. By the way, guys, this is a completely free site, NBA.com. You go to NBA.com and search for potential assists. Boom, you can take advantage of this tool. So completely free. Throughout 16 playoff games this season, Draymond Green leading the Golden State Warriors at 12.8 potential assists per game. So what does that mean? That means his assist prop sitting at 6. He's just got to go around 50% success rate, around 50% of the potential assists that he gets. He's just got to go 6 out of 12.8 for a tie or a push. Now, if you want the over, which is 7 assists, he's got to be a little bit better than that. He's going to have a little bit of a higher conversion rate than 50%. But he is undoubtedly leading the Golden State Warriors in potential assists. So take a look at that. So we can move from there and look at Draymond Green's assists and see kind of the hit rates for him. At 6 assists per game, he has hit this more often than not. A lot of the times, though, he gets stuck on 6. Let's look at his home and road splits here, because that's also something that, I think these Golden State guys typically shoot better at home than they do on the road, which makes sense. A lot of these teams typically shoot better when they're playing at home. So he's hit 6 or more assists in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9. 6 out of 9, not bad. Not a bad hit rate for him. That's when he's playing at home. Taking a look at his previous games against Boston. He has played Boston twice. He had 8 assists in their first matchup. Second matchup, just 3 dimes. But that was the one where he was coming off of the bench, still working his way back into playing shape. So got to cut him some slack on that second game. Nonetheless, let's take a look at a projection for Draymond Green. Remember, these are just one set of projections or projection models. Check out NumberFire, RotoWire. There's a number of other sites out there that offer free single stat player prop projections. See how they compare. Don't just rely on this projection model. There's a number of different projection models. They're all kind of weighted differently. They factor in different things. I do typically trust Fantasy Labs, though. They've been around a while. They know what they're doing. There's people who have won big tournaments on DraftKings and FanDuel using these models. So I know they're good and reliable for the most part, but nothing's ever perfect, right? Anyways, Draymond Green at 6 assists, projected for 8.1. At 5.5 assists, he is being bet over pretty heavily. Minus 140, minus 145. So this could be setting up for a push or a tie, meaning Draymond Green might land on exactly 6 assists. It could very well happen tonight. But the fact that he is clearly dominating the potential assists for the Golden State Warriors is a good sign that he'll at least have a shot at 6 or better. Now, the second highest player in potential assists is Steph Curry, who's at 9.2. 9.2 potential assists. He'd have to have a pretty efficient night, let's just say, on his potential assists to hit 6. 6 out of 9 is asking a lot. That's pretty high. What about some of these other guys? Andrew Wiggins, 1.5. Well, he's getting about 3.1 potential assists per game, so I don't know that I love that too much. Kevon Looney at 2.5 assists, averaging 3.3 potentials. I don't know, man. That's asking a lot. Again, he's going to have to go basically 100% on his 3.3 potential assists to hit the over at 2.5. Maybe he's an underplay, though. Jordan Poole's averaging about 8 potentials per game. His assist prop is set at 3. I don't mind that. Going 3 out of 8 for the tie or the push. 4 out of 8 if things are going well and Golden State shooting the ball. I could see Jordan Poole maybe over 3 assists being a good look. Let's just take a look at Poole real quick. Poole, 2.5 according to Prop Stat Cash. Let's see how he's done throughout the playoffs. At 2.5 assists, you're seeing a whole bunch of green up here. Whole bunch of green up here at 2.5 assists. If we bump him up from 2.5 to 3, you can see he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 16. 13 out of 16 at 3 assists or better throughout the playoffs. So I think I'm a buyer on the over for Jordan Poole at 3 assists. Maybe it ends up in a tie or a push. Very well could happen, but he's only missed this in 3 games throughout the playoffs. So I think this looks like a good one. Now we'll take it a step further. We'll look at his home splits and road splits. At 3 assists, he's hit 3 or better at home in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9. Not bad. 7 out of 9 at home. I'll take that. I'll take a shot on that. Moving forward, we'll take a look at a projection. Jordan Poole is projected for 4.4 assists. That's higher than 3. At 2.5, he is a betting favorite. Minus 150, minus 160 to go over 2.5. We're even seeing him as high as 3.5 on some books. At 3.5, they are betting the under, though. So between 2.5 and 3.5 is 3, which is where PrizePicks kind of landed on Jordan Poole. It could end up being a tie or a push. So that's one to definitely worth considering, being that he's got such a high success rate. Let's see here. Klay Thompson's been doing a pretty decent job with his potential assists. I mean, he's at 3.8, which is almost 4. So he'd have to go about 50% for the tie at 2 assists. You could go there. I don't like him probably quite as much as Jordan Poole, but let's take a look at Klay Thompson, and then we'll move over to the Boston Celtics side and see what's up. But Klay's at 2 assists, not 2.5. So when we bump him down to 2, you could kind of see, the big picture here throughout the playoffs, how many times he's hit at least 2 assists. He's played in 16 playoff games, has hit 2 assists or more in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of 16, which is not terrible, but it's not as good as Jordan Poole's hit rate. Let's look at the home games for Klay. At 2 assists or better, he has hit 2 assists or more in every home game but 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 9 at 2 assists or better. So that's a pretty good hit rate at home. So both he and Poole, maybe Draymond, you look at those guys for their assists. But yeah, Klay Thompson doing a pretty good job here at 2 or more assists when playing at home. Against Boston, only played them once, finished with 1 assist. That was back in March. He was definitely being asked to score a lot more in that game than he was to pass, because Steph Curry ended up leaving that game after 14 minutes, in case you guys missed that. But anyway, Klay Thompson projected for 3.3. 3.3 assists. That's more than 2. But at 2.5, big action coming in on the under. Minus 190, minus 150. So it could very well push or tie. Now, let's flip it over. We said we would talk about some of the Boston Celtics assist props. Well, let's go back to NBA.com. All you do now is clear out that team, which is Golden State. You go and choose Boston, click run it, and then you could take a look at the Boston Celtics and who's leading the team in potential assists there. And it's kind of a 2-horse race, we'll call it. Jayson Tatum averaging 11.9 potential assists per game through 18 playoff games, meaning he wouldn't even have to go 50%. We don't even need him to hit 50% on his potential assists in order for him to hit 5, right? So I kind of like that at 5 assists. 11.9 per game. He's sitting at 5. Yeah, I mean, it could tie, it could push, but hopefully the Boston Celtics guys are making their shots. That's what we're hoping for. Now, Marcus Smart at 10.5 assists. Let's go, at 10.5 potential assists. His assist prop is set at 5.5. He would need a more efficient night than Jayson Tatum would need in order for him to hit the over on 5.5 dimes. Other guys leading their team in potential assists, Jaylen Brown, averaging nearly 7 potentials per game. So we would need him to go about 4 for 7 to hit the over, which is more than 50%. So, I mean, it's going to come down to Boston's just going to have to make shots. Horford, 6.6 potentials. He's sitting at 3. Somebody mentioned Derek White's assists at 2.5. He is averaging 5.4 potentials. So he'd have to go, again, beyond or above 50% in order for him to hit at least 3. So those are some of your options for potential assists. I think Tatum, though, if he's going to get about 12 potentials tonight, I like him at 5 assists. So let's take a look at Jayson Tatum real quick. Again, it's game 1. We're kind of flying into this blind, kind of flying into this dark. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen between these two teams. We've only got 2 regular season games to look at, and even those aren't the most reliable because the cast of characters has changed quite a bit. But anyway, looking at this this game log here, playoff game log, 18 games for Jayson Tatum. How many times has he hit 5 or more assists? Well, to start the playoffs, he was dropping a lot more dimes. And then I think he's taken on more of a scoring or shoot first role as this playoff series has rolled on. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games in which he's hit 5 or more assists. 13 out of 18. Not the greatest hit rate in the world. 13 out of 18. What happens when he goes on the road, though? Well, he's hit 5 or more assists on the road in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9. So that's not terrible. 7 out of 9 on the road at 5 assists or better. I like that. Let's take a look at a projection for Jayson Tatum. Projected for nearly 6 dimes at 4.5. Big betting favorite to go over at 4.5. He's also at 5.5 on some books, but big betting favorite to go under at 5.5. So PrizePicks has split the difference, put it right down the middle, landed on exactly 5 assists. So there you go. Jayson Tatum at 5 dimes. All right. Let's move on to rebounds. And we've got some handy little tools also available for us here for tracking rebounds. Again, NBA.com, totally free for you to take a look at this. It's part of their NBA Advanced Stats section. So you go players, you go tracking, and then you go rebounding. And then you're able to click advanced filters, change which teams you want to look at. So we'll start with the Boston Celtics and click run it. Now, similar to potential assists or field goal attempts or 3-point field goal attempts, you've got something here called rebound chances. How many opportunities do these players average on a per game basis, right? You're able to see that using this tool, which can be very helpful. The guy who's leading the Boston Celtics in rebound chances per game is Big Al Horford. 16.4 rebound chances per game, which is nice. That means he's going to have a shot here. That means he's going to have a shot here at least 9 rebounds. He's dominating the rebound chances for the Boston Celtics. Now behind him, it's kind of a 3 or 4 man race. You got Jaylen Brown at about 12 rebound chances per game. Robert Williams at 11. Jayson Tatum at 11. Grant Williams close to 11. So that kind of gives you an idea how things are divvied up, how these Boston Celtics do in terms of rebound opportunities or rebound chances, right? Al Horford, far and away the number 1 guy. From there down, it's kind of, like I said, 3 or 4 different guys sitting right around 11 rebound chances per game. So being that those 3 or 4 guys are pretty much averaging the same amount of rebound chances per game, wouldn't we want to look for the prop that is the lowest amongst them to take the over? So we've got Jaylen Brown at 6.5, getting about 12 rebound chances per game. You got Robert Williams at 6.5, 11.4 rebound chances per game. You got Jayson Tatum at 7.5, so his prop number is 1 rebound higher than Brown and Williams. So for me, I'm going to stay away from Tatum. And then you got Grant Williams sitting down here at just 3.5. But he's getting nearly 11 rebound chances per game, which is about the same as Tatum, Williams, and almost the same as Jaylen Brown. So this one looks like it has a lot of value. If he's going to get about 10 to 11 chances to grab a rebound tonight at 3.5, that one might be worth considering taking an over on. So let's take a look at some of these guys, these Boston Celtics guys. So we'll use props.cash to do that. We'll flip it over. Grant Williams. Click in on him. Taking a look at Grant Williams at 3.5 boards, you see he's got a 72% hit rate throughout the playoffs, gang. 13 out of 18 at 3.5. We talked about his rebound chances being up there with the big boys, like Tatum, like Brown, like Robert Williams. But his prop line of 3.5 rebounds is way lower than everybody else. You're asking if Grant ain't stopping. You're asking if Grant Williams is injured. He's not on the injury report, so I don't think so. I think he's expected to play. Maybe you're thinking of Robert Williams, not Grant Williams. Maybe Robert Williams. Robert Williams has been banged up with that knee issue. But anyway, yeah, Grant Williams, 72% hit rate. Taking a look at his away splits, 78% hit rate on the road throughout the playoffs this season. 7 for 9. So he does a good job of hitting on the road. He does a good job of hitting at home or on the road. 70+% hit rates are nice. We like that. So we'll jump ahead and take a look at a projection for Grant Williams. Grant is projected for 4.4 boards. He is a betting favorite at 3.5 boards on your sports books to go over 3.5. So things are looking up for Grant Williams. The potential assists are absolutely there. The high hit rates are there. Favorable projection. We're seeing some strong odds on the over at 3.5. There's a lot of things that are looking up for Grant Williams. The other one that I told you that I would probably consider would be either Jaylen Brown, who's second in the team in rebound chances, or Robert Williams. So let's focus on Brown real quick. His rebounds have been pretty good throughout the playoffs. Let's dig in a little bit further. I liked him when he was more at like 5.5 and 6 rebounds. But I can understand why they got him at 6.5 today. So taking a look at his playoff run, 50% at 6.5 boards. That's what I'm saying. I liked him better when he was at 6 or even at 5.5. So we're paying a little bit more here for Jaylen Brown at 6.5 rebounds. But when you're second on the team in rebound chances, I understand. It makes complete sense. Now, looking at his home and road splits, at home, 56%, on the road, 44%. So he does not rebound as well when he's playing on the road. So maybe we stay away from Jaylen Brown at 6.5 rebounds. Let's just get a projection on him real quick. Curious to see where they've got him today. 7.4. They think he's going to go over 6.5. We're not seeing anybody on the sports books really touching or messing with this prop at 6.5. No overs, no unders. It's pretty much even money on every sports book. So, yeah, I think I'll stay away from it as well. All right, let's clear out the Boston Celtics and look at the Golden State Warriors side of things when it comes to rebounds. Very clear to me who's leading the team in rebound chances per game. It's Draymond Green with 13.1. But a close second is Kevon Looney at 9.5 rebounds on PrizePicks. He's averaging 12.1 rebound chances. He's going to have a really efficient game in terms of turning those rebound chances into actual rebounds. He'd have to go 10 for 12. Let's say he gets 12 rebound chances tonight. He'd have to go 10 for 12, gang. That is a very high conversion rate. Not that he can't do it, but man, that's asking a lot. I think I prefer Draymond Green, who's averaging more rebound chances per game. Averaging more rebound chances per game throughout the playoffs, and his prop line is 2.5 rebounds lower at 7. Again, it's not a perfect science, but when you see something like that, I think that's a better opportunity than Kevon Looney over 9.5 boards. Andrew Wiggins is third on the team, getting about 12 rebound chances per game, meaning he'd have to haul in about 50% of those rebound chances that he's averaging throughout the playoffs in order to land on exactly 6. We would need him to have a slightly more efficient game to pull in 7 rebounds. So I think for me, Draymond Green or Andrew Wiggins might be the ones to look at. Steph Curry had done a pretty good job in a couple of those games from the last series, pulling in rebounds, but I don't think I'm going to go there, not in game 1. He's averaging 9.4 potentials per game. He'd have to get 6 rebounds to hit the over, so 6 out of 9's asking a lot. So I think we should take a look at Draymond Green a little bit closer here. Could be a Dre day kind of day. So when we look at Draymond Green's rebounds, we knock him down to 7. He's not going to have a very sexy hit rate here, gang. He's only hit this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 6 times out of 16 playoff appearances. So it's looking kind of tough. The rebound chances are there, but it's looking kind of tough. I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't liking what I'm seeing here on first glance. 2 games played against Boston. He's 1 for 2 in the regular season. 50% hit rate. Averaging 6.5 boards, which is less than 7. Not loving this. I'm not loving it. But it is game 1. And again, anything could happen and probably will happen. But he's projected for 8.7 rebounds. That's close to 9 boards. At 7.5, though, the public kind of feeling like I'm feeling. They're betting the under at 7.5. Yeah, I might have to stay away from that one. What about this other guy? We talked about Andrew Wiggins and how well he had been rebounding the basketball throughout the playoff run. Maybe he's the better move. He's at 6 rebounds instead of 7. So let's take a look at Andrew Wiggins. We bump him down to 6. We bump Wiggins down to 6, and you can see he's hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games out of 16. 10 out of 16, not terrible. We could also take this a step further and look at just his home games, where he's 5 out of 9. Just his away games, he's 3 out of 7. So he does have a slightly higher hit rate in rebounding the basketball when he plays at home, for what it's worth. Jumping ahead here, Wiggins rebounds projection exactly at 6. At 6.5, he's a big betting favorite to go under. Minus 160 to go under 6.5. So PrizePicks is adjusted accordingly, putting him down to 6 rebounds. I think overall, though, I'm going to stay away from some of these rebound props. Just not seeing anything that I love, outside of that, you got some 3-point props up on the board. We could take a quick glance at those. We'll go back to the trends page on props.cash. Again, if you want to save 25% off your first month of props.cash, there's a link down in the description below. Just use code Curry when you check out to save some money. Who doesn't like saving money, especially in the times that we're living in, right? Times is hard. Inflation's real, folks. Everything's going up. So save a few bucks. Use code Curry when you sign up for props.cash. But anyway, 3-point makes. As far as the playoffs go, the guy that's leading the way is Jordan Poole at 1.5 3-pointers. 56% of his playoff games, he has hit the over. Jayson Tatum is a coin flip at 3.5. A lot of these 3-point props look a little bit sus. They look a little bit shaky to me. I don't know that I'm trusting any of these hit rates. Let's look at some of these Warriors players, because if I'm going to take overs on anybody, it'll probably be Warriors guys at home. So looking at Curry at 3.5 3-point makes, he's 5 for 9, 56% at home. I mean, that's all right. It's not great, right? Not great. Klay Thompson, we bump him down to 3. He's hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9 at home. Just not exciting. Andrew Wiggins, we like his points. What do we think about his 3-point makes at home? 56%. just not looking great, man. I don't know that I'm in love with any of these three-point shooters. Don't know if I love him. Jayson Tatum, we talked about him throughout the playoffs, 50%. He's a coin flip. When he's at on the road, he's got a 56% hit rate. When he's at home, he's got a 44% hit rate. So again, kind of like his points, seems to score better, make more threes when he plays on the road than he does at home. So there's that. Jaylen Brown at 2.5. 2.5. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? But 44% hit rate for Jaylen Brown. Not great. Home games, 44%. Away games, 44%. He's just truly a 44% from three type of hit rate guy. I'm just going to stay away. I'm going to fade. I'm not loving it. I got to love it to put money on it, and I'm not loving that. Marcus Smart, 1.5. I'm sorry, he's at 2. Marcus Smart's at 2. Here we go again, It's just not looking great, guys. Probably going to stay away from that. I mean, if there's any three-point props that you guys are really loving, let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the chat. But to me, most of these are looking ugly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6 of 8. Marcus Smart, 6 of 8 at 2 or more three-point makes on the road. Maybe you go there. Smart over threes at 2. Maybe. What else we got? Al Horford at 1.5. 4 out of 8 on the road at 1.5. When he's at home, 4 out of 9. So, he doesn't have a great hit rate either. I think I'm going to fade most of these three-point make props. Maybe I'll take a shot on like Jordan Poole or like an Andrew Wiggins or something. I don't know. But it's looking kind of ugly. Free throws made. We talked about these at great length in the past. You're going to want the guys who are high usage guys who are going to lead the team in touches, who are going to be aggressive, attacking the basket, not going to sit out there and camp the three-point line. It's very rare that you get fouled out there on the three-point line. So we're going to need the guys to put the basketball on the floor, to get into the teeth of the defense, to draw some contact, get to the free throw line, and then they've got to actually make their free throws. So you want strong free throw shooters. You don't want guys to get there and have the opportunity to make a couple free throws and then they brick 1 or 2 of them, right? You want high percentage free throw shooters. So a guy like Curry, Tatum, most of these guys, Klay, most of these guys are pretty high percentage free throw shooters. I also take a look at like who's going to be the designated technical free throw shooter. Say that other team starts to intentionally foul. Right? Who is that player that the team's going to try and force the ball into their hands? A guy like Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. A guy like Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum. Right? At the end of the game, if the game's close and it comes down to intentional fouling, we want the ball going in these guys' hands. We want them going to the free throw line. So maybe take a look at some of those. Osmosis Jones saying Wiggins is cash. You're liking the Wiggins rebounds? Love it. Let's see here. A little negativity, huh? Got a little negativity in the chat. You hate to see it. Hate to see it. We're all just here trying to help each other win. Ain't stopping. You're liking some Steph Curry on his assists. I don't mind that. He gets a pretty good amount of potential assists per game. I think I'm liking Curry more for like scoring some points tonight, but we'll see. It's game 1, guys. Game 1. We're doing our best here. Blocks and steals. Let's take a look at the trends page again on props.cash for the steals and blocks and steals. They're doing a pretty good job of keeping the good ones away from us. The high hit rate ones away from us. El Negrito, Chef Curry says, it's been a minute. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button for me, El Negrito, if you're happy to see me back. Appreciate that. And I love your name, by the way. Jayson Tatum, they've already bumped his steals and blocks up to 2. That's unfortunate. Marcus Smart's still at 1.5. He's got a 53% hit rate. 53% hit rate for Smart. Some of these other guys, Al Horford's been bumped up from 1.5 to 2. Everyday Fantasy says John Goble is the referee tonight, so expect some calls against Golden State. So maybe we take some free throw makes for the Boston Celtics guys. But yeah, some of these blocks and steals, I mean, they've all been, bumped up, bumped down. So they got blocks just on their own. As far as blocks go, Jayson Tatum, 61% hit rate in the playoffs on blocks. So Adalbert Victor is saying he likes Tatum over 0.5 blocks with his 61% hit rate. Okay. There's that one for you. Steals. You got Jordan Poole, Derek White. Poole's got a 56% hit rate going over 0.5 steals. White, 53% hit rate. I don't know. Some of these props. What about turnovers? Jordan Poole by far at 1.5 turnovers, 81.3% hit rate. He's at 2 turnovers today. Maybe he ties, maybe he pushes, but with a hit rate of 81.3% at 1.5, I think we take a chance. I don't mind Jordan Poole over 2 turnovers. Grant Williams, not up on the board. He's got a 66.7% hit rate. D Swizzy says he feels like it's going to be tough betting on game 1. May hold off to see how they play against each other. Yeah, I understand that completely, D Swizzy. Like I said, we've only got 2 regular season games to kind of lean on to look at. But even then, I don't know how confident I feel that those regular season games hold much weight. Draymond Green's at 3 turnovers. I see my man Jeremiah saying take the over. Draymond Green 3 turnovers. Maybe. That could be a look. But yeah, I mean, check out some of these other categories too. 3-pointers made in the first 6 minutes. 2-point field goals made in the first 6 minutes. Free throws made in the first 6 minutes. So, I mean, those are some other options. But overall, I think I kind of agree that with D Swizzy, it's going to be one of those nights where you kind of probably just want to, have some skin in the game, especially if you're playing on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is doing that promo where you can unlock a chance to win a $5,000 entry just by completing some steps, some challenges for the NBA Finals. So I believe today's challenge is make 3 entries on PrizePicks that are all NBA. So 3 all NBA only entries on PrizePicks to qualify for step 1. So make sure you put in at least 3 entries that include just NBA players if you want to complete step 1 of the challenge. And eventually you'll get to have that opportunity for a free entry to win $5,000 over on PrizePicks. So take advantage of that promo. And if you guys want to help support my content, if you want to be a part of the community, we're talking MLB player props, NBA Finals player props, NHL playoffs player props. We've also got some WNBA going, esports going daily. A lot of different things happening in the community. All you need to do, join Patreon. I appreciate your support, really and truly. There's a link down in the description. This is the best time to join Patreon, being that it is the beginning of the month. When it's the beginning of the month, it's always the best time, best bang for your buck, best value. It's just $20. You win one $10 2-pick power play. Patreon's paid for, and you're free rolling for the rest of the month. If you can't win a $10 2-pick power play, something's really wrong. But anyway, with that being said, I think we've done a pretty good job of sliding through the props board over on PrizePicks. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, Code Curry, 100% instant deposit match, still going on. You see it above my head. There's also a link down in the description below. But that's it, gang. I'm out. Till the next time. Peace.